Hi, welcome to Scicoga Chat. I'm Ken. We have David and Don, and we are coming to you once again from Ultimate Realities here in the Elk City Indoor Flea Market in Elk City, Oklahoma. Is that all the plug we need? You got? Well said. Okay. All right, folks, we're going to talk some more Scicoga. For those of you that haven't seen this before or haven't heard, Scicoga is a portmanteau. It's a word made of It's a word made of syllables from other words. In this case, each of the things it's made from is one of the things that our business is concerned with and what we are really passionate about. Sci-fi, fantasy, comics, and gaming. Scicoga. All right. This week, we're going to talk about comic book movies. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of back in the beginning. We're going to talk some more about more recent history, and then we're going to talk about what things that are coming up. Now, comic book movies for a long time had a major problem, and that was the people making them didn't respect them. Agreed?
Yeah.
That's where you get things like Superman or The Quest for Peace. Probably the most painful piece of cinema I have ever sat through. This was and the Christopher Reeve series of Superman movies is the ideal subject to discuss the lack of respect. Because the Salkind brothers hired Richard Donner to make Superman and Superman 2. And when he was almost finished making Superman 2, they replaced him with somebody who would schlock it up. And that's when they started putting in more slapstick. During the scene in Superman 2, when the evil Kryptonians are causing a massive windstorm, this was the guy that decided that somebody needed an ice cream cone in the face. So basically, Richard Donner was fired because he was treating the source material with respect. That is the ultimate of how screwed up this stuff was.
That's DC.
Oh,
on a DC show.
Do you want to address the Marvel of the old days?
No, because I know those two.
Captain America. Okay, first of all, let's talk about The Punisher, which was a much better movie than Captain America.
Yeah.
But then, about the only good thing you can say about Captain America is that it's better than Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Okay, Punisher, they didn't have him in his iconic uniform. Why? The filmmakers didn't want it to look like a comic book character.
Right.
Think about the logic of that for just a moment. Don't hurt yourself.
Too late.
I half expected him to pull a Dangerfield and get no respect. But Captain America, that one bothers me so much because they had a couple of things really right. But, because they saw how successful Batman was with a rubber suit on the main hero. The thing is, Michael Keaton's suit actually fit him.
Yeah.
It had a shape. It made him look badass.
They actually took measurement.
I think they might have.
Yeah.
I think they might have. I swear to God, the one that they had for Captain America, it was shapeless.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm wondering if they had the stuntmen wear the same exact suit, if they only had one. And then anybody who knows anything about Captain America, especially people who've seen the MCU movies, can really appreciate the stupidity of this. The Legend of World War II went on one mission during World War II and failed. Failed big time. The only thing he managed to do was knock the rocket that he was tied to off course so it didn't blow up the White House. Yay! But yet he was still a legend.
Right.
Huh? And then, as far as other things, then there's the things where they made them bad, and it's not necessarily that they weren't respectful to the source material. They were, but they were trying to go in a different direction. For example, Joel Schumacher. He wanted to bring back the campy, and let's face it, Batman Returns did make it fairly easy for him.
Yeah.
Because Tim Burton.
Right.
Love Tim Burton, but the man has got a switch in the back of his head that is locked into the weird position. Sometimes that works out awesome. Sometimes, next. Anyway, but Joel Schumacher decided to take the existing series, which was much more serious, at least in the first one, although Penguin.
Yeah.
And then he decided to make it a little campier, which, if he'd stayed with the level he was with Batman Forever, it would have been tolerable. But then he did Batman and Robin. What in the name of Stan Lee was done to this comic book movie? Okay, let's see. We have Bane as a bargain basement Hulk.
Right.
We have Alfred Pennyworth as the world's creepiest uncle.
Made a measurement of suits just by looking at you.
Yeah. He had a suit for Barbara that happened to fit every measurement on her body precisely. I don't know my girlfriend's measurements that precisely. To be perfectly honest, I don't want to know her measurements that precisely, let alone somebody I'm related to. Okay? If somebody knew my daughter's measurements that precisely, I'd probably break their legs.
Right.
If it was my brother, I'd break his legs with his forehead. Okay? I mean, it's just, no. But anyways, so that was just a bad decision. Another example of a good director who made a bad decision, Superman Returns.
Right.
This is not a good movie. It had a fantastic actor to play Lex Luthor. We agree?
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey, great choice. Brandon Routh was totally messed over by this movie.
Yeah.
Because he did not play Superman. He played Christopher Reeve playing Superman. And that also brought us back to the bumbling Clark Kent. Even though we had had a couple of decades of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Superman the Animated Series, and Smallville, where we had a competent Clark Kent. So, but Bryan Singer, still a good director.
Even as a teenager, he was more competent.
Yeah.
But Bryan Singer's still a good director. I mean, I'm sorry, every X-Men movie he's directed has been better than every X-Men movie he has not directed.
Right.
If you don't count Deadpool as an X-Men movie.
Right.
Got to give props.
Yeah.
Another example of someone not respecting the source material, Joshua Trank. Fantastic Four 2015.
Ouch.
Oh, come on, people.
I don't care to see it.
I
Don't ever will.
I wish I hadn't. The only reason why I think other people should see it, I think people should see it when it's like on cable for free, when they already have, I don't think anyone should pay to see it. If it comes up on Netflix and you already have a Netflix account, take the opportunity to see it. But
Don't pay for it.
don't pay for it. Whatever you do, I mean,
Got a friend that
well,
has a DVD, maybe.
yeah, borrow somebody's
Yeah.
DVD. There you go. Borrow. Notice, not rent. Watch it on broadcast television. They can't screw it up by editing it. It might improve it. They just might.
That's pathetic.
Okay. A lot of people are blaming the studio for interfering, but I hold Josh Trank responsible because of one thing. Statement he made to the press immediately after being signed is going to make it different from the comic book. Okay? He didn't say we're going to make it our own. He didn't say it. He said we're going to make it different from the comic book. That means that he's setting out to make changes for the sake of change. Changes should only serve the plot or the time. For example, let's go to the beginning of the MCU, which we'll agree is the example. The MCU is the example of it being done right.
Right.
more than any other.
Very.
I mean, not taking anything away from the Dark Knight trilogy. That was also done right.
Yeah.
But the MCU has done it right many more times. Very first thing they did, Tony Stark in the comic books, he was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
In the movie, he's in the Middle East. Why? That's where we're having wars right now.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense.
Right.
He did it to fit the times.
Right.
X-Men, first X-Men movie, the team was different. They even had some that were in the same generations in the comics in different generations. Because Cyclops, Jean, and Beast, if you consider the whole thing, were all of one generation. And Iceman and Angel were of separate generation. In the comics, they were all teenagers at the same time.
Right.
But they did it to further the story that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's an example of one change to serve the story and one change to serve the time. Another reason to make a change is because of personnel. Daredevil, 2003, Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. He nailed it.
Very good.
He nails it. You forget that in the comic books, Kingpin is Caucasian.
Right.
Who cares? It's Michael Clark Duncan. The dude was perfect for the role. Not taking anything away from Vincent D'Onofrio on Daredevil on Netflix. He's scary. He's scary good in the role. Well, you will. I promise. Someday you'll see it and you'll love it. Anyway, okay, so there's the things that have been done wrong and things that have been done right. The MCU and the Dark Knight trilogy are, to me, and Deadpool, of the two giants, Marvel and DC, those are the examples of stuff being done right. Consistently. The Batman series that Tim Burton started, it was inconsistent.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the big problem there. The Superman series that Richard Donner started was torpedoed from within. The god-awful Marvel movies of the 80s and early 90s, Howard the Duck, just no.
I think redemption is coming for that one.
I think redemption already came. I think that 5 seconds of screen time on the end of Guardians of the Galaxy was like, oh look, that never happened.
Yeah.
The only good thing, do you know what the only thing I consider a good thing in the original Howard the Duck? Leah Thompson in her underwear.
Yeah, there is that.
Okay,
I'm not going to argue.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
arguing on that point.
We're guys. Deal with it. Okay, Jeffrey. What was his name? The main villain. I cannot remember the actor's name, and I feel terrible about it. But he was Jeff Jones, I think. God, I feel terrible. He was good in his role for what the role was.
Yeah.
But I hated Howard.
Yeah.
I hated Howard. That was not the Howard the Duck I was wanting to see. That was the one that Disney helped remake when after they sued and made Marvel change the one that I liked.
Yeah.
And now Disney owns that, so they're like, oh, it's okay, you can do that now. Which that was an unexpected benefit of Disney buying Marvel that I never anticipated. Okay,
True.
the
Well, now he's
MCU.
different from Donald Duck, at least.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah. Very.
with the MCU, we are less than 2 months away from installment number 14 on the big screen of the MCU, Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
What do we think of Benedict Cumberbatch in the role? Have you seen much of Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Okay.
You think?
Yeah. Because I loved him as Khan.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
is my favorite Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And
And I'm a Sherlockian.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of Sherlock Holmes. But Cumberbatch, in my opinion, is the closest to what Doyle wrote, which is an impressive feat after Jeremy Brett's turn in the 90s. Okay, that's number 14. of the previous 13 installments, which started 8 years ago, man. I mean, I'm loving this. What is your favorite MCU movie that you've seen thus far?
It's not fair because I've just watched Civil War 36 times in the past 3 days.
I'd say he likes it.
I want to slap him because I haven't gotten to see it since I saw it in the theater the night it opened. Neither is he.
If you had a DVD player, if you'd be old school a little bit instead of all this Blu-ray stuff.
It was given to me for free. What would you do? Thank you. Okay.
Buy Blu-rays.
Just because you're permanently old.
Buy?
Exactly. Right.
I'm poorer than you are, and you work for a church.
Don't mention that on here.
Okay.
Edit.
We didn't say that.
I didn't say which church.
I didn't.
It's
Which
not the
church?
Westboro Baptist.
I didn't know it was a witch church.
Thank you for that. Please tell me you can edit this.
To call for complaints, that's Klondike 52525. And if you actually try that, bless your heart. Okay. All right. See, to me, Civil War was so good. Because, okay, first of all, to qualify, of Marvel Comics, I have two favorite characters, both of which were prominent in that movie. Captain America and him. No, not Green Lantern.
I keep forgetting it's reversed.
Spider-Man and Captain America are my two favorites in the MCU. And Spider-Man was
awesome. In a fight, there's not a lot of talking.
Anyone here seen that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back? Jeez, Tony, how old is this kid? I don't know. I didn't carbon date him, but he's on the young side.
He's seen it once and probably knows more of the dialogue than I do.
I'm sorry, it's what I am. I'm sorry, I'm a mutant. I kind of am. But I'm a red shirt and I'm still alive. Come on.
I've been watching the airport fight sequence over and over again, and I just love it when I don't want to spoil anything. So, is this a spoiler-free zone?
Yeah. I think we can make a rule.
Okay.
We can't give away any major spoilers until a month after it's been released on DVD.
Okay.
So we gotta wait a couple weeks, and that's going to be our standard rule. I know. I'd like to mention it too. But no. One of the critical reviews of it I read said that Spider-Man stole the show with Ant-Man as a close second, and I have to agree.
Yeah.
Because Paul Rudd was perfect for what he did.
Black Panther being also introduced. T'Challa.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh well, I mean, not only here's an impressive thing. Not only was T'Challa awesome, T'Chaka, his father, that was a great intro. And Zemo, they changed up who Zemo was quite a bit. But
he's still a good bad guy.
He was an excellent bad guy. I'd like to see some bad guys actually. MCU has really been going through the bad guys.
Yes.
Ultron's a one and out.
Yeah.
Ultron's a one and out? Are you people nuts?
He's probably down with it.
Yeah, see, that's what I would like to see. He
probably was smart enough to say, okay, well, just in case things don't go wrong, here's a computer virus.
Well, it'd be cool.
Himself up on a.
It'd be kind of neat if they showed like the Tinkerer or the Fixer or something like that finding pieces of him.
Yeah.
Or showed them buying pieces of him off eBay or something like that.
Would be funny.
Not Claw.
Claw?
No, not Claw, because Claw wouldn't want him back. Look what he did to Claw.
Right. Well, he's probably reason why he will. No.
Yeah, it's like no. Claw's new nickname is Lefty. Okay, no, that's not true. It's because his left arm is the one he cut off. But anyway, okay, so the MCU, are we all pretty much agreed that pretty much Civil War and not taking anything away from any of the others?
I still like Galaxy.
GOTG, yeah. Oh Lord, I cannot wait for the second one.
The fun factor is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I can see that. I'm not going to argue with it. That's
Yeah.
for
Now,
sure.
I am anticipating Doctor Strange being better.
I'm not anticipating Doctor Strange being as fun.
Maybe not as fun.
It's
but
probably more serious because
Wow.
of who Doctor Strange is.
Well,
the
and
training
also
he's gonna
let's
have
look
to
at
go
the
through.
major characters in it. We've got
Right.
Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo, and the Ancient One
Right.
as the major characters. It's not going to be a lot of laughs. I mean, there's going to be some
Maybe.
because the Ancient One did have a sense of humor on him,
Yeah.
but Strange is a stiff, and Mordo makes Strange look like Spider-Man.
True.
But that's something that MCU's been getting so right is their casting choices.
Yes. Established actors want to play.
But they don't stick to just
Right.
established actors. They'll
They
use
make new guys.
whoever. Because I'm sorry, before he played Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan was not an A-lister by any stretch, and now he kind of is.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
when he started playing Iron Man, he was not on a lot of casting directors' Rolodexes.
Right.
Once it came out, and then he did. He also had Tropic Thunder and Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's the first name on every casting director's Rolodex, and he's too busy.
Yeah.
He's too busy, and he's too expensive.
Probably.
No, I don't think anybody but Disney can afford to hire him anymore. It's like right now, RDJ's been like, okay, for this movie, I'm going to be in it for 20 minutes, and I want 3 small countries as pay.
It's a smaller world after all.
Welcome to the new Vatican City, now called Starkland.
Not Game of Thrones.
And then we'll go to Monte Carlo, the capital city of Downeyland. But no, I mean, it's swear it almost feels like that. But I mean, although I'll be honest, I'm so glad they did not get their first choice for Doctor Strange. Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor. He's an excellent actor, depending on what he's doing. I mean, but Doctor Strange, Joaquin Phoenix, no, that's not a good match. That's as bad as Stuart Townsend as Aragorn. Which I'm so glad that they said, this isn't working, Stu, sorry.
Yeah.
And I like Stuart Townsend, but not for Aragorn.
Right.
He would have made a much better choice for Legolas than he would have for Aragorn, but Orlando Bloom had that.
Yeah.
But anyways, then there's the casting miscues. I still haven't decided if it was a casting miscue or if it was proper casting but bad writing, or a little of both. Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. Because it's not his fault that it doesn't work. On the other hand, he couldn't have saved it. We might as well get this one out of the way. Batman versus Superman. Oh, right, that's right. You weren't there. He and I both saw it. You did see Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
This to me is a great way to describe how bad it was to us. Some people out there liked it. If you did, more power to you. Seek help. Sorry. But anyway, that's rude. I apologize. But he had not seen Man of Steel when we went to see Batman vs. Superman. After seeing Batman vs. Superman, he did not want to see Man of Steel. But we talked him into borrowing a DVD and watching it. And the next time he saw me, he came into me and said, man, they... Batman versus Superman. Because, he bleeped.
Yeah.
It was he could not be more adamant about the difference between them, and that perspective gave him a very unique look at it. Whereas for me, I was just looking at it and going like, why did they rewrite all the characters?
Right.
Because let's see, if you have not seen Batman versus Superman, too bad. It's been out long enough. We're going to talk about it. They had Superman smiled in exactly one scene. Yeah, there's a great reason for it. He's in the bathroom alone with Amy Adams in the bathtub. I'd smile too. But Superman is known as the nice guy. He smiles. He's friendly.
Mm-hmm.
How come the only time he smiled, the only thing that can make him smile was Amy Adams naked in a bathtub? If that's the only thing that can make you smile, you're uptight. Okay? So basically, they had Superman acting like Batman.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Batman was torturing people. He was branding criminals on the face with a bat emblem. He was killing people. And he was a psychic.
He was using guns.
Well, not personally, only on his vehicles, which he's done that before, but he's used them in non-lethal capacities. Right. This time it was like, no, there's guys there, I'm shooting them. Yes. And apparently, I have not tested this theory out, but I have been told that if you watch the extended version on the DVD, then you can actually get the key story elements that are missing that explain why Batman is acting like the Punisher on meth. I personally find that offensive.
Yeah.
I paid good money to go see that movie in the theater. I should not have to buy a DVD to get a complete story. I have no problem with extended editions of movies on DVDs. The Lord of the Rings movies did it fantastically. They added an hour of footage to each movie.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to see the extended version to get the root of the story. This one, apparently, you do have to, which that bothers me a lot. And it makes me far less inclined to spend money on DCEU movies. You know? Now, that has nothing to do with why I haven't seen Suicide Squad. That was timing and finances and things like that just conspiring against it. I want to see Suicide Squad. I want to see the different performances. I want to see Jared Leto's Joker. I want to see Jared Leto's Joker and evaluate on its own basis rather than what everybody else is doing it, comparing it to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, that's just not fair. Heath Ledger put so much into that role, it killed him. Literally. I don't want to see an actor do that again. Especially a great actor like Ledger was. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I want to see, I'm more concerned with the writing than I am the acting at this point in time. Because they have skilled actors. But it's like, I was very happy when Jeff Johns was put in charge of the movies on the DC Comics side of things. I remember who it is that's in charge on the Warner Brothers side of things. Mm-hmm. But as far as DC Comics is concerned, Jeff Johns is the man. This is a guy who's been fixing stuff that's been going wrong in the comics. Yeah. So, and he knows the comics. So he's gonna fix a lot of the malarkey because, and Zack Snyder will not be doing another DCEU movie. I'm actually quite excited to find out about that Ben Affleck is doing the new Batman movie, that he's directing it. All these people sweating Batfleck. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Every time somebody complains about casting in a movie, there are a number of examples I like to cite. 1989, Michael Keaton as Batman. 2000, who's this no-name Australian guy playing Wolverine? 2006, Fraser as the Beast. Are you kidding me? 2008, my personal favorite, Heath Ledger's going to ruin the Joker. Really? Every one of those put out great performances. What's that?
So you think he raised the bar?
He raised the bar so hard, yeah. It was like, but
Mark Hamill went, that's a little high.
No, Mark Hamill's going like, finally somebody else.
A challenge.
Finally, another Joker equal to my own. Okay.
I'm out of here.
But, yeah, because we all love Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh, yes.
We all love Mark Hamill's Joker. But that's part of the reason. Mark Hamill's Joker and Kevin Conroy's Batman. Those two characters not only were in Batman animated series and the variations thereof, but the Superman animated series, Static Shock, Justice League, and then Kevin Conroy went on to do Justice League Doom. They were both in the Arkham Asylum video game,
Yeah.
and they both came back to do The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
It was good, but there's one problem with it. They added too much Batgirl story at the beginning of it. It was a slow, plodding story. Once you get to it, basically what it is that when you finally get through that story and you get going in it, you've kind of already lost a little bit of interest. It takes you a while to get back into it. But maybe that'll, when you do see it, maybe you'll be prepared for that, because I wasn't.
I need to buy The Killing Joke because we have.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, stop it. We're not supposed to be plugging stuff.
I'm not.
Shut up. We really aren't. Anyway, but Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill both, when it comes to animation, they're still the top of the heap. Jason O'Mara, who took over doing Batman for their current animated movies, as in Justice League War, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, Justice League or Teen Titans versus Justice League, or Justice League versus the Titans, whichever it is. Son of Batman, Batman versus Robin. He's done a great job as and I love his Alfred. His Alfred is Ducky from NCIS, which David McCallum for those of you playing at home.
The David McCallum.
Who, but anyways, it's like I'm really looking forward to seeing how the DCEU moves forward, because I don't really consider Suicide Squad to be connected to Justice League. It's in the same universe.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be part of it. They're not going to be, there shouldn't be a lot of interaction between them. I mean, yeah, they did have cameos by Batman and Flash in Suicide Squad. Basically, it's because they caught some of the guys that are in there.
Yeah. And
that's all the interaction they should have. But whether or not Suicide Squad is good or not does not really help me figure out if they're going to do Aquaman correctly, or Flash, or Cyborg, or Wonder Woman.
I personally hope that they do. Of course, we hope that they do, but I personally hope that Jason Momoa's Aquaman isn't ruined.
I kind of get the feeling they're going to be okay. I really do.
He fits the part.
I think he fits the part rather nicely.
And I haven't seen BVS, so.
Well, all you can tell from BVS is that his hair flows underwater.
Okay.
That's literally the only thing you can tell. And Aquaman can move fast underwater. That's all you get.
Wonder Woman, I think, is going to be a pivotal thing that needs to be treated with respect.
Wonder Woman was the shining star of Batman versus Superman. And it's not because Gal Gadot is gorgeous. Well, that's a factor, but I'm sorry, that woman, she played that part with steel in her. You could believe that this was a warrior. She played the part beautifully. And some people, they saw the early images of it, they're like, oh, why isn't her suit red and blue? And I was like, it is. It's dark colors. This is something a warrior would wear. They changed it from something a showgirl in Las Vegas would wear to something that a warrior would wear. Right. This is a good thing. And if you can't get past it, you can't accept Wonder Woman as a warrior, which means watch Linda Carter's show. Watch it on Netflix or Hulu or whatever the heck you can find it, because that was a good show for what it was, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
I was easy to think that Linda Carter would even think.
Actually, I think she weighed in on it, and I think she did like Gal Gadot's. I could be wrong on that. I could be completely hallucinating it.
That's entirely possible.
That helped. Anyway,
I hope.
But I really think Wonder Woman's going to be good as long as the character is treated with the same respect in her own movie that she was in BVS, which is ironic because the only reason she was in there is because they weren't respecting her, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
When I first heard that the sequel to Man of Steel was going to be Batman versus Superman, I was like, cool, that'll be good. That's a great way to introduce the new Batman. Don't bother going with the whole origin story. Everybody knows how he became Batman. It's just the heck with that. We don't need to see the Wayne's death. We don't need all this stuff. And they still included it in BVS.
It's Alfred's fault. He wasn't there.
Dang it.
Sorry.
No, I read a Facebook
know,
meme
you
to that
showed
effect, so
me.
now I'm
That's why you
screwed
told
up.
me.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta
And
do
I
it
want to
once.
slap you now.
Good. It's going to be recorded. Show everybody.
Wrong side.
I was going for an irony thing.
I
But
was dyslexic. Moving on.
anyway, but I thought that was a good thing. And then I heard they were going to put Wonder Woman in it. And I was thinking, like, yeah, that's the great idea. Take the most important, the most important female comic book character in history, shoehorn her into the guy's movie.
Yeah.
Don't give her one of her own because she doesn't deserve it because she's a girl. Are you kidding me? And then they made a big deal about Jason Momoa is going to be in it. They even put out posters of Jason Momoa in it, and he was in it for 6 seconds or so. I was like, and the more I heard they were putting into it, the more I was like, why? It's like, oh my gosh, we had to have Flash in it. We had to have Cyborg in it. It's like we have to give everything up front. DC wants to compete with Marvel. That's fine. I wish them luck. I want there to be a box office war between the two comic book giants.
Well, you guess who wins? Us.
Yeah. Well put. Because Marvel's winning it hands down right now, and BVS is a good example of why.
They've had a good start,
Because they want to compete with Marvel, but they don't want to do anything Marvel's doing. Because after all, why would you want to copy a successful business model like that?
I mean, Marvel's fighting itself, trying to let DC catch up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Literally. Let's just
in
have a
box
movie where
office
guys
returns.
fighting each other.
Okay, in terms of box office returns only, right now, Batman vs. Superman, I think, is the number 2 comic book movie of the year. In terms of profitability, the number 1 is Deadpool. Because, holy cats,
I
that
like Deadpool,
was
but that is a little bit
awesome.
Fun.
It was
Deadpool.
awesome. Hey, I'm glad it made good money because all those guys at Fox were like, I don't know if we should make this movie or not. I don't know. It's like, I want every Fox network, Fox studio executive that was like, I don't know if we should make this. I don't think it'll make any money. I want them fired. Because if it hadn't been for them, we'd have had Deadpool 5 years ago.
Right.
We'd have had Deadpool.
We got such a good movie.
Ryan Reynolds would have probably still played him.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds has been wanting to play it ever since he first played Wade Wilson, who was turned into what the hell?
Something we don't know. Yeah.
White trash fodder. WTF?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like. Thank you. Ryan Reynolds, he loved the part. First of all, Ryan Reynolds was only in the first movie in the first place because he was a comic book fan.
Right.
And let's face it, in the beginning, he was awesome. Then it's Deadpool. They call him Deadpool. It's actually Weapon 11.
Right.
And he's got powers Deadpool never, ever, ever had. Plus something that even in the Marvel Universe is freaking impossible. He had unbreakable blades that retracted out of the back of his hand. Where did those go?
He had to walk like that.
If that were actually part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he'd have had to have pin particle generators embedded into his body to make that work.
Right.
And then it would have.
So those things went to the floor.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. There was nowhere for those to go. They completely ignored the rules of the Marvel comic book universe.
And anatomy.
And that's part of the problem with that. I mean, even if they'd have showed the blades like coming out part way and then telescoping out, like Lady Deathstrike's fingernails. Yeah. If they'd have showed the blade doing that, it'd have been fine. But no, it was a big single.
Or if he'd have been walking around like this.
That's what I was saying. Like Fucking
Yeah.
around.
With his arms extended and not moving at all.
But anyways, yeah, that okay, for those of you who have not seen X-Men Origins Wolverine, it is a fantastic movie until the last 20 minutes.
Yep.
Right.
Actually, let me take it back. It's a very good movie that would have been fantastic if somebody besides Danny Houston had been in it.
Mm.
I don't like Danny Houston. I think he's an overrated actor. If he was not part of a Hollywood legacy, he would not have a career in Hollywood. And replacing Brian Cox with Danny Houston as the younger version of him, it's like, oh my gosh, did that man have osteoporosis or what? He was
Right.
6 inches taller in the past.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm like, how the heck can that man walk with osteoporosis that severe?
So there's still a lot wrong with that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that movie, but it's Danny Houston in the last 20 minutes. If they could have fixed those things, it would have been out of the park.
I don't mind that they made Wolverine and Sabretooth brothers.
No, because, well, there's been speculation on them being related. The
Yeah.
brother thing, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
There was all kinds of things that were okay that they changed.
And I've read the origin story.
But to
It
me,
wasn't Creed.
the worst part about the X-Men Origins Wolverine not succeeding better is we missed out on the other origin stories that we might have had.
Yeah, because they were talking about doing X-Men Origins Storm, X-Men Origins Magneto.
I would have loved to have seen Storm's origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That would have been a
also-
good one for Shadow King to be in.
Yes.
Because that's
And
pretty
that's
much who
something
found
else.
Found Storm first.
And that's something else. I'm really wishing that they would get some of the other X-Men villains brought in here. It's like supposedly they're going to be bringing Sinister in next. They finally brought in Apocalypse, but it's like, where's the Friends of Humanity?
Right.
Where's the Reavers? Where's the Hellfire Club?
Well,
The Inner Circle?
yeah.
Because where is the White King? Well, we had Sebastian Shaw,
We had,
but I'm sorry, where is that organization and all their glory? Because we had the White Queen and the Black King,
yeah.
but where was the Black Queen?
Gosh, yeah.
Where is Donald Pierce? I
Yes.
believe was yeah.
Donald Pierce.
Where are these guys?
Yeah.
And
I think they're doing good with who they're picking now.
Well, and once they got Bryan Singer back in, because
Yeah.
Brian, if you only had not left the project to screw up Superman Returns, because then X-Men 3 would have been better. We'd have had the proper Phoenix. You set it up for us. You set it up beautifully, and the next guy goes, we're going to change it up. But okay, I'll admit I still liked the movie.
It was good,
but I was very
but it was not
disappointed.
Phoenix.
I was very disappointed with Phoenix. Hugely disappointed. We never got the flaming bird. Not once in that movie. The only time we got it was under the water. And all of a sudden, instead of being a cosmic entity, it's Jean's bad side.
Right.
Yeah.
That was another one. I don't know how much respect that director had for the source material. It might have just been that he was like, "Ooh, I get to put my own twist on it." But
And
I have no idea what.
broke.
Yeah. But
let's talk about how much we got left.
we got about 10, 15 minutes left if we keep to what we have been.
The cameo that everybody looks for in the
Ah.
MCU. It's a matter of
That's a good closing
Where
to
is
the
he?
show.
Where is
That-
he?
that's-
Where's the man?
Oh my
the
gosh.
man.
Ant-Man really made us suffer.
Yes.
Actually, you know what my favorite Stan Lee cameo has been?
What?
Big Hero 6.
Oh yeah.
Haven't seen that either.
Really. That's my favorite Stan Lee cameo. Not because it's because it was totally unexpected.
Right.
You know,
I'm sure.
I mean, it's an animated movie. You didn't expect Stan Lee to show up in it, and he does, and it's epic.
Is there a Mr. Spank here?
Yeah, that was true. They made us wait quite a while in Civil War too. But
Deadpool.
oh, Deadpool,
I'm sure.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Yeah.
Ant-Man was great. It was really wild because it's like he's in there, but you don't get to hear his voice.
Right.
You hear Michael Pena's voice, Which,
It's
okay,
atrocious.
can we agree that Michael Pena was part of the reason that movie was totally freaking awesome?
Yes.
Uh,
Because I say Ant-Man kind of ranks up there with Guardians of both the comic element.
the comic elements
Yeah.
definitely, but that's something the MCU's been doing, and it's really funny because I hear
Yeah.
those people talk about they want more serious movies, and it's like, why does it have to be dark and brooding
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like
to
Flash,
be good?
the Flash movie would need to be
Flash is supposed to be a smart aleck. I want him to be one.
humorous and
Yeah.
funny.
Well, and let's face it,
Yeah.
the whole problem with Batman versus Superman is they made it way too dark.
Yeah, that's what I keep
I'm sorry,
hearing, so.
when Lex Luthor is your comic relief, you've done something very wrong.
Was that
And
Lex
he
Luthor?
was. Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was that other guy.
Lex Luthor. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was the comic relief in Batman vs Superman.
That's sad.
But
Yeah.
how many movies? Trying to remember. How many movies did Stan Lee just show up? Almost all the Spider-Man.
Well, it's really interesting that because you know what the first Marvel comic based movie that he did a cameo in, X-Men.
X-Men.
Brian Singer had him in
Right.
there. He was the guy, the hot dog vendor on the
Right.
beach when Senator
Yep.
Kelly walked out.
Right.
He was in X-Men 3. He was the guy who was watering his lawn when Jean started messing with everything and the water started floating up.
Was he in 2?
I don't believe he was in 2.
No, he was. Well, was it? Never mind.
Okay.
I think it was.
And yeah, he
I thought
was
he was playing.
he was
checkers in
somebody.
the park.
He was in Daredevil
Yeah.
because he was the old man that blind young Mac snapped his
Yeah,
cane up in front of
right.
to keep the guy from walking into
Walking.
traffic.
We know
He was rescued by Spider-Man
Yeah.
in Spider-Man. I don't know if he was in 2
He
and
was in
3.
2 and he was in 2 and 3.
I don't remember him
I
off
do.
the top of my head.
He was in Fantastic Four. And he was in Fantastic Four. But his first
His
in
appearance
Fantastic
in first Fantastic Four movie, I loved him
Because it
as
wasn't
Willie
really
Lumpkin was inspired.
Oh yeah.
Old time comic fans like me were like, yes. It was great, but the second one, I'm Stan Lee. You're not on the list, sir.
Yes.
That's
And-
like the Thor.
Did it work? Yeah.
Did it work?
Yes.
Well, and how about the running gag in Iron Man of him constantly seeing him as thinking he's
Yeah.
someone else? Thought he was Heth in the first one, thought he was Larry King in the second. It's like,
Right.
wow, I'm loving that. I mean, it's a great gag. And then there was Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be taller.
Yeah.
And Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Soldier.
I am so fired. I mean,
Then
there's
you've got him in his favorite one. One of my favorites is
Deadpool. Oh,
Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't have this drink. Give it
Oh.
to Sonny.
Don't quit trying to scare me. It's like this was not meant for mortal men. Neither was Omaha Beach. Quit trying to scare us, Blondie. Excelsior.
I'm trying to get it right out before the contest. But
I mean, yeah, that was there's so many little things that they're
Yes.
doing right. They're putting in a lot of those little details that when you rewatch the movies,
oh yeah,
you notice.
Mhm.
And that's part of what makes those movies great. Anytime you can enjoy something a second time and see something new,
yes,
that's always to me a good sign. And I can't wait to see Doctor Strange. I'm really looking forward to seeing Spider-Man: Homecoming
yes.
next year. Really looking forward
We
to
don't
that.
have to do the origin story. Yay! We
Um,
get it. He
well,
was bit by a
I
spider.
was reading an article, and it was things that they don't want to see in Ben Affleck's Batman
Radioactive
movie.
one.
And one of the things that they mentioned that they don't want to see, they don't want to see the Wayne's death.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, that's a great idea. There is nobody who's going to see a Batman movie that doesn't know how and why he became Batman.
And if they
The
don't
same
know, they
is
can
true-
watch any of the
Right.
previous to find out.
Right. Well, and plus the fact it was shown, it was alluded to in BVS.
Right.
Well, let's let BVS serve at least that purpose, since it doesn't serve much else, other than having a really cool Alfred. I love Jeremy Irons. He was every bit as good to me in the role as Michael Caine was,
Yeah.
and as Sean Pertwee is on Gotham, which you really
No.
you will love it when you finally get a chance to see it.
The DVD.
Uh,
That's what I like about the TV shows, is that they're putting them on DVDs.
Yeah.
I'm like, yay, I got first season of Arrow, and I just still need to watch it. Time.
So
Felicity
we may
Smoke.
talk about that soon.
Okay.
Well, we can do that next.
Well, okay, but and also to be perfectly honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing Justice League. I saw a thing that they were doing a sequel to Man of Steel, and I was thinking like, wow, it's about time. That was supposed to have been what came out this year.
Yeah.
I think that I still think that they screwed up by trying to, instead of doing a sequel to Man of Steel, do a prelude to Justice League. I think they'd have been much better served if they'd have just stuck with what they were going to do.
Or
But-
if they'd have done things a little differently and made it better.
Yeah.
It still could have been the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, it could have been a lot better doing what they were doing, but I still think they'd have been much better served had they, instead of focusing on building up the future, use that movie to introduce the new Batman, give them a reason to be quarreling with each other. They fought 50 times in the comic books. It's not that big of a stretch. And
The next sequel I'm looking forward to, probably this guy over here too.
Batman
But
sounds
Star-
like a whiny
Galaxy.
baby.
Oh, okay.
Whiny crybaby drama queen to me.
huh?
So Batman and BVS sounds like a whiny crybaby drama queen to me. But I
Well,
haven't
he
seen it,
does.
so,
He
yeah.
is pretty much Lex Luthor for the entire movie.
Yeah.
He is pretty much Lex Luthor's
Which-
female dog for the
Batman?
entire movie.
Oh.
Yeah. And see, this is what kills me. We know some hardcore Bat fans,
Yeah.
and they like the movie. And I'm like, how can you like the movie that turns your favorite character into Lex Luthor's female dog?
Right.
I can't understand how you can like this. It's like,
Figure it out.
I mean, to be honest, I'm burnt out on Batman anyway,
Yeah.
because Batman can do everything. You know, and in BVS, oh my God, they gave him psychic powers. It's like, really? Totally unnecessary, totally stupid, but apparently explained in the extended version of the DVD, which we've already covered. But it's like, right now I'm waiting for Suicide Squad to come out on DVD, which that's going to be a while because it did well.
Yeah.
But the holiday season's coming up, they're going to want to capitalize on that.
Yep.
And Deadpool. Of the non-MCU movies, I think after the Dark Knight trilogy, I think Deadpool ranks as my favorite. And that's not even a hardcore following those. I mean, I would pay good money if it were possible to have the Dark Knight trilogy's Joker interact with the Deadpool that Ryan Reynolds played.
Oh.
Those two characters specifically would be amazing to interact. It's a shame we can never do it, but it is fun to think about. And if you want to see Daredevil, why do I do that? If you want to see I've been doing it for a long time. I don't know why. If you want to see Deadpool and Joker interact, as long as you're on YouTube, go to Superpower Beatdown and check out Deadpool and Domino versus Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yes.
It's epic. It's fantastic. The guy they got playing the Joker nails it.
Very good.
The guy they got playing Deadpool nails it. Check out Batman versus Deadpool also. You know, I can just watch them all. Except for Thor versus Superman. I was not happy with that one. But anyways, but yeah, you know. Okay, so that's our topic for this week. Next week, we're probably going to talk about some of the stuff coming out on television, which we'll probably do some, kind of what we did this week, talk about some of the past of television as well as the future. Until then, you know, explore the alternate worlds, the universes that we have available to us, because trust me, there's some gold to be found within them.
Yes.
Live long. Wait, that was last week. Never mind.
Well, besides, I'm dressed for it. Live long and prosper.
Right.
And see, if either one of you guys were wearing Marvel, you could say Excelsior and with a clear conscience.
I wish
I still could.
Not with a clear conscience. You can't wear a Bat shirt and use a Stan Lee line. No,
My
it's just
heart is with Marvel. I just haven't done laundry. You need to do some laundry.
I got my laundry days tomorrow. That's why I got this on. Otherwise, I'd be wearing my tie-dyed Spider-Man. What's my favorite shirt anyway? But
Tangent number 1.
it's really kind of wild looking at this because I keep seeing my head in Spider-Man's hand.
Okay, hit the button.